June 10th, 2014. Pendulum Watercolor is a completely normal and unassuming map made by Alexa BM that went through qualification and was then ranked. At least, it seemed normal until you played it and were rewarded with up to double the PP you should have gotten. At a quick glance, the star rating shows that the map is only 4.65 stars, and it definitely feels like it's that hard, but for some reason it's giving out the same PP as a map that was over 6 stars. The players who first noticed this bug started telling their friends that something was wrong with Watercolor and that they should play it too to gain some nice, easy, free PP. They then told their friends, and their friends told their friends, and the news spread very quickly throughout the community. Within an hour, almost every player online, including the highest ranked players, were trying to get their share of PP from the new map. Unfortunately, none of these plays survive to this day, so I will be showing some current day plays on the map to give you an idea of the difficulty. For context, the actual PP record at the time was 517 PP from Marucci's hidden double time FC on remote control, but that would soon be broken rather easily. The no-mod values aren't well known, but we can assume that they were able to get upwards of 300 PP from the 4.5 star Insane Diff. Better players who tried to FC with Hard Rock were rewarded with 485, 494, even 500 PP for a map that would normally give less than 300. Now people pushed for Hidden Hard Rock and made it go even further with 545, 549, 557, and 565 PP, all by Nitro, one of the top Hidden Hard Rock players of the time. By now the ranking was a complete mess as almost everyone got their new top play without putting in nearly any effort into the bugged map. Many began leaving comments on the map's page and forum thread about what was happening and what should be done to fix the situation. Others just continued to enjoy the rare moment where the broken PP on Watercolor could help them gain a few ranks. The next logical step was trying the map with double time, which a few players could nearly do but couldn't quite get it. All of that was until Sayonara Bai, the number one player at the time, was able to get a 94.96% hidden double time choke that clocked in at 784 PP, just under 250 PP above the current record. In only a few hours, the game had devolved into complete chaos with the majority of online users all trying to abuse the broken map. Suddenly, without warning, the map was unranked, and users found abusing temporarily had their user pages and even accounts disabled like Azer and Sayonara Bai. So what exactly happened here to turn a fairly simple map into the biggest farm fest of the year? The day before, a change for the PP system was being pushed to live that tried to make star rating more relevant to players. Tom, the lead developer of PP, decided to make the values larger since there were almost no maps between 5 and 10 stars, despite the so-called soft cap for ranked difficulty being 10 stars. As explained by a Reddit user, the star rating values then were about 2/3 of what you would see now, meaning a 6-star map today would be around 4 stars in the older version. I'm not sure how reliable this explanation is since the changelogs from this time are missing, but it seems to be corroborated by a few other people I've asked. This would help fill out the rare higher star difficulty range better, but would also help players more easily differentiate between the difficulty of maps on the lower end. Basically, the change would increase the star rating while keeping the PP values about the same. Or so he thought. During the recalculation, something went wrong. A map was qualified and ranked at the perfect time to pass through the star rating recalculation twice. Watercolor was a completely normal map with an insane difficulty that was just over 3 stars in the old system, that was converted to 4.65 stars in the new while the map was qualified. Then, as the map was changed to being ranked, for some reason the system thought that the 4.65 stars was the map's old star rating and recalculated it once again to turn a relatively average insane difficulty into a 6.5 star map. The game and the website showed the correct star rating visually most of the time, so players wouldn't think anything of it, but the PP system behind the scenes still thought that the map was over 6 stars. As soon as staff caught wind of what was happening, they began investigating and found that luckily Watercolor was the only map affected by the bug. The simplest course of action for them to remove all the bugged scores and to stop future ones from happening was just unrank the map until its star rating was able to be properly recalculated. They did punish some users as mentioned for abusing and spreading knowledge of the bug to others, but within a few hours their user pages and accounts were restored and everything was back to normal. And with that, ended the chaotic few hours where the PP system was broken for a single map. After that fiasco, Watercolor was qualified a week later and then once again added to the rank section with its difficulty values finally fixed. There's only been 2 incidents similar to this one that I could find since then, but they're not nearly as large, long-lasting, or well-known. In the aftermath, jokes were made and discussions were had, but the event would largely be forgotten apart from those who experienced it themselves. The Watercolor incident has become just another footnote in Osu's long, rich history.